What's up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Monday night DFS showdown picks. We have the Chargers going against the Raiders. It is a 51-point total where the Raiders are 3-point underdogs. And yeah, should be a very fun game, not only from a DFS standpoint, but from a fan standpoint as well. I think it's going to be a very high scoring, a very fun game as well. So looking forward to that. Before we get into it, if you guys can leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have not yet, tons of content coming out throughout the week. My core plays for week 5 will be out midweek, and then my final thoughts video will be out later in the week as well. And then, of course, showdown content Monday and Thursday. So I say we get into it, starting with the most expensive player on the slate. We have Justin Herbert sitting at 11,200. And yeah, I think Justin Herbert's a very, very good play. I like the matchup here against the Raiders. And week 1 and week 2, he did have 337 yards and 338 yards and only 2 touchdowns in those first 2 weeks. I was very high on him in week 3. I thought those touchdowns would definitely come up, especially against Kansas City, and they did. He went to 4 touchdowns last week. So yeah, I like Herbert quite a bit. I think everything's there for him to be a very good play this week. And in terms of the quarterbacks this week or tonight on Showdown, I think both of them are very important. I would make a priority to get both of them into my lineup. If I had to pick between the one, it would be Herbert, but I think Derek Carr is in a phenomenal spot himself. Derek Carr has been looking good, throwing the ball a lot, 56 times in week 1, 43 in week 3, 37 in week 2, and he's facing some pretty tough defenses, right? Miami, very good defense. Pittsburgh, very solid defense. Baltimore's not a bad defense as well, and he's doing good. 26.8 DraftKings points per week. I think Derek Carr is more than in play this week, so yeah, I think the quarterbacks Herbert and Carr are both going to be priorities of mine. I'm going to focus on trying to get both of them in there. If I had to pick one, though, it would be Herbert, but yeah, I can't deny that both of them are not great plays because they are both great plays there. Mike Williams, to be honest, I don't love the price tag here. He's sitting at 10,200 where I can go down and get a Keenan Allen for a lot cheaper, but Mike Williams has been doing phenomenal, getting a ton of targets. 9 targets in week 3, 10 in week 2, 12 in week 1, averaging 26.8 DraftKings points. I think he has a ton of upside. It's just the price tag that I don't like, but he's doing so good. He has a ton of upside there. I will have some Mike Williams, but I'd much rather go down and get a Keenan Allen, because it's going to be so hard to get a lot of these guys into your lineups this week. It seems like it's very top heavy. There's not a ton of value. I like pretty much everybody up in this range, and I'd rather have like a Keenan Allen than a Mike Williams, who's Allen's a lot cheaper. Darren Waller, even Austin Ekeler. I'd rather have these guys than a Mike Williams, but Mike Williams is definitely in play. Austin Ekeler, cheaper than Mike Williams. I like him more. I like Ekeler's pass-catching ability. In week 1, he had 0 targets, 0 receptions. I thought he'd bounce back. He got 9 targets, 9 receptions in week 2, 6 targets, 6 receptions in week 3. So he has that pass-catching upside. That's what I'm looking for on a showdown slate. And yeah, I like Ekeler quite a bit. Going to get some rushing attempts as well. Touchdown upside, and what should be a very high-scoring game. I do like Austin Ekeler as always. Darren Waller, last time we saw Darren Waller on a showdown slate, the dude had 19 targets. Don't think we can expect a crazy number like that, but he's going to get a ton of targets. I think he leads all tight ends in targets this year. 7 in week 3, 7 in week 2, 19 in week 1, averaging 17.1 DraftKings points there. Yeah, I do like Darren Waller quite a bit. Like I said, last time we played him in Showdown, 19 targets. Can't expect something like that, but still he's going to always be very heavily involved in the offense. So yeah, Darren Waller's fine. And then Keenan Allen. Yeah, Keenan Allen's great, 8,800. So this whole top range, so we have Allen, Waller, Carr, and Herbert. This whole top range I love. I like everybody in this range. Allen is the cheapest out of everybody in this range at 8,800, and I really do like Allen. So the targets are there. The production's there. He's not, going off like Mike Williams, but he's still doing very good. 19 DraftKings points against Kansas City, 17.8 against Dallas, 22 against Washington. He's doing very good. He seems like a very safe play. I love the price tag. I love that he's cheaper out of this whole range that I'm in love with. So I do like Keenan Allen quite a bit. 8,800 I think is a very safe play, and may not have the upside of a Mike Williams, but he's just so much cheaper. I feel like he's safer as well, and I do like Keenan Allen 8,800. So that whole top range is in play. I'm going to focus on getting as many guys in that top range as possible, preferably the quarterbacks. But everybody up in that range is in play. So going down, we have Josh Jacobs. He has a game time decision. If he does play, To be honest, don't have much interest in him. If he does not play, Peyton Barber will get a bump up. Peyton Barber looked to be that man last week. 23 carries, had 5 targets, 3 receptions for 26.2 DraftKings points. I think if Josh Jacobs does not play, if anything, I'd play Barber here. There's also Kenyon Drake, who I thought would be the guy last week, but it looked like it was going to be Barber. To be honest, don't have a ton of interest in any 3 of the running backs, Jacobs, Barber, or Drake. If Jacobs does play, I'll have none of the 3. If Jacobs does not play, I'll be having some Barber just because of how great he looked last week. It is a solid matchup, but just seems a little bit too expensive for him going to be splitting carries and splitting playing time with Kenyon Drake. But yeah, I think Barber's solid if Jacobs does not play, but there are some other options I do like that are cheaper. I'd rather go up and get some guys in the range up top, or go down and get some of these other guys. So we'll go down. So down in this range, you have Drake there that I'm not too interested in. If Jacobs does play, definitely not. If he does not play, still probably not. But yeah, these wide receivers for the Raiders are all very cheap, and we're really struggling to find value on this slate. But we have a ton of very cheap options here that are definitely in play. We have Hunter Renfrow, who's in play, who may not have the other as much upside as the other guys. Slot receiver here. Averaging a little over 7.5 targets, 6 targets in week 3, 7 targets in week 2, 9 targets in week 1. So the targets are there, the production's there, averaging 14.1 DraftKings points. I think Hunter Renfrow is somebody I do like down in that range. He's 5,800. Brian Edwards, another guy I do like as well, 5 targets. More of like a boom or bust spot here for Brian Edwards. I do not mind him, especially in Showdown. And then who else do we got? Did I miss one? Oh, we missed Ruggs. We missed Ruggs, who is going to be more expensive than Renfrow, more expensive than Edwards, but I do think Ruggs is in play. Maybe not the best matchup in the world, but he's still going to get targets. 7 targets in week 3, 7 targets in week 2, 5 in week 1, averaging 14.9 DraftKings points. I think Ruggs is definitely in play as well, but we do see that Renfrow is a lot cheaper. We see that Edwards is a lot cheaper as well, so I'm going to mix and match all 3, but I do like the price savings on Edwards and Renfrow when we're talking about the Raiders wide receivers. As far as cheap options, I think both kickers are in play. Carlson has actually been doing really good, averaging 13.7 DraftKings points. If you get 13.7 DraftKings points out of Carlson on this slate, I think it could be pretty decent at 13 in week 3, 17 in week 2, 11 in week 1. Very solid kicker there. I don't mind Carlson, but both kickers are probably in play due to there not being much value down below the kicking range. But we have Jared Cook, who I do like, 4,400. The targets are there, 8 targets in week 1, 5 in week 2, 3 targets in week 3. Solid matchup here against the Raiders. He is averaging 7 DraftKings points per game. I don't hate Jared Cook at that price tag. Seems very underpriced there. I think he's a solid value option. And then that's pretty much about it. I mean, we have the defenses here. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Maybe there can be a sack here and there, a turnover here and there. But I think, pretty touchdown dependent. But, yeah, those are some cheap defenses. So I guess a little bit intriguing. If you're playing multiple lineups, yeah, I'd have some of them. But if you're playing like 1, 2, or 3, I leave them alone. Guyton, no thank you. Cheap, though. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, nothing really down here sticks out. You have Parham, the backup tight end. You have Roundtree, no thank you, backup running back. Yeah, Zay Jones. Yeah, just nothing down here really sticks out. So, but we touched on a bunch of value. We touched on the kickers, I think, are in play. We touched on Jared Cook, who's way too cheap. Brian Edwards is way too cheap. Renfrow is way too cheap. So I think there is enough value. Play a couple of these guys down here and then go up and get the studs like a Herbert, like a Carr, like a Williams, like a Ekeler, like a Waller, like an Allen. But yeah, in terms of finding that really cheap play down below, not much sticks out at all. But yeah, it's gonna be a very fun slate. I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Excuse me. Just a quick recap. Down below, I do like both kickers, more preferably the Carlson side. Jared Cook is 100% in play. I do like my thing's messing up. Okay, there we go. I do like Edwards. No Drake for me. Renfrow as well. I like the 3 Raiders wide receivers all quite a bit. Ruggs, the most expensive one out of the 3, but I think he's fine as well. And then up top, I love all, like I think 6 or 7 of these guys: Waller, Allen, Ekeler, Williams, Carr, and Herbert. Trying to get both quarterbacks in there, Herbert and Carr. I think Allen is very cheap. I like Allen over Williams, but both guys are in play. Austin Ekeler I like a lot, and then Waller, we saw what happened last time, what he did on a showdown slate. So yeah, pretty fun slate. I think it's gonna be so much fun. Great guys up top, some value down below, but I think it's gonna be a high scoring game. So yeah, guys, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Good luck for this Monday night game. See you guys.